Alright guys, I don't know how I even got subscribers. I guess I reached some of you with my knowledge. To those of you who I've reached, congratulations, you're at least awake enough to listen to reason, and you've remained teachable. That is the base principle that I need to teach everybody, is to always remain teachable in life. Okay, so I just want to start off and say, first and foremost, I am nobody special. Okay, this knowledge isn't just something that was passed down to me by God Himself. I learned this from my fellow man, who learned it from their fellow man, so on and so forth. I draw inspiration and knowledge from many other sources. Um, so, with that being said, don't expect a whole lot of content from me right now. I am currently in the hospital. My wife just gave birth to my daughter, so I'm gonna be a little busy for a little while. Now, what I'd like to talk about today is just some basic knowledge that you can find out for yourself. Really easy. If you want to buy books, I can point you in the right direction of what books to buy. So let's get started. So the first book that got me into all this, it is not this one. This is the second book in the series. Around. It is the Spirit World series by Dylan Secotio. The first one that you want to read is called The Deaf Phoenicians, and that's spelled Phoenecians. So in this book series, Dylan Secotio, who was part of the Church of Satan, which, don't let that distract you from anything. Don't let that bring up some kind of antipathy, because it's not what you think. But Dylan Secotio, he breaks down the language of not just English, but he goes into Latin, Greek, even Hindu, Hebrew languages. He goes into a lot of things that have been hidden from us by Freemasons, the Church of Satan, and other branches off of those, that are just occultists. And for a quick little history lesson, occult and occultism, it's based off of a Latin verb, means occultare, and all that means is to hide. And it comes from an even earlier word, oculus, which is, having to do with vision, hence ocular. Okay? So in those books, he really breaks down language, he breaks down history, he breaks down a lot of things revolving around occultism, but mostly it's language. Okay? Language is an absolute necessity to understand if you want to get ahead in life anywhere. You have to understand what you are talking about, what you are being told. Okay, so the next book that I will recommend to anybody is called the Hermetica. Okay, this is basically a culmination of studies that were done between the Greek, Latin, and Egyptian people. They collaborated and basically came up with, inside of a book, the study of natural sciences, and it talks about the law of vibration, harmonics, and that's another thing that people need to understand. It doesn't matter how fucking smart you are. If you do not have a complete mathematical knowledge base, then you cannot say that you are educated in mathematics. So modern mathematics is based on 4 sciences. Okay, we've got arithmetic, which covers algebra, it covers trigonometry. To a degree, it also covers calculus. And then there's geometry, which we all know, shapes, squares, circles, angles, and all that fun shit. But then there's also astronomy, which is the study of the stars. It's the science of the stars. And there's a lot that goes into that too. And then the fourth one is harmonics. Okay, so right off the bat, most of us are only taught those 2 things, which is arithmetic and geometry. We're not taught the complete mathematical base, as far as knowledge. And so right off the bat, there's a power differential right there. Because if we don't understand harmonics, which is vibration, and astronomy, which is the stars, because the answer is in the heavens, then our knowledge is incomplete right off the bat. and that's not good for anybody. Okay, and then another book that I would recommend. I mean, this one I haven't got into it too much, but this is Old Norse paganism right here. This will break down alchemy, even metal alchemy. And there's two other people that I would recommend that everybody check out. One is Mark Passio. He was appointed priest of the Church of Satan by Anton LaVey himself. He got involved in other organizations, other orders of dark occultism, found out what the plan was and how they're going to execute it, decided he wanted out, got out, and over the course of his time in the Church of Satan, he amassed a large gathering of knowledge. He calls it the Arc Drive. You can check out his website called whatonearthishappening.com. The guy is absolutely brilliant. And he talks about what he calls natural law. Okay, apologies for that. Medical professionals came in. I call them medical professionals because most of them aren't considered doctors. And just a quick little history and language lesson. The word doctor comes from the Latin word doctore. And if you ever watch the show Spartacus, you get a pretty good idea of who the doctore is. There's a lot that we can learn from ancient languages. But so anyways, Mark Passio, he discusses natural law, which, you know, people get caught up in the wording of that. Natural law is just his description of it. All it is the law of morality, and it's ancient psychology, you guys. It's something that you can observe in nature with anybody or anything that has the mental capacity to comprehend the concept of morality. Okay, so morality and freedom are directly correlated. Okay, so as morality increases, freedom increases. As morality decreases, freedom decreases. And I'm sure that you can see that and observe that in today's society in the United States or any country where there's riots happening right now. All that's fucking happening is more laws being passed. So, you know, I highly recommend that you that anyone watching really check him out. And one of the biggest things that we all need to understand is whatever your emotions are when you receive this information, don't let that dictate whether or not you see it as truth or not. Okay? How I look, how anyone else looks, whoever the messenger is and how they look, don't ignore the information and call it bullshit, science, whatever the fuck, because that's a logical fallacy. You know, trying to justify not believing in something based on how you're feeling at that given moment or how that person looks, it's a logical fallacy. So just understand that. But there's 5 transgressions against natural law or the law of morality, okay? And the first one is violent force, and then the second one is rape, third is theft, fourth is trespassing, and the fifth is coercion, okay? So we all know violent force, murder, assault, you know, shit like that. Rape has its own one, you know, sexual crime has its own little category. And there are subcategories of all these different transgressions, but it all comes up to don't steal from people, okay? So theft is a very obvious one. Trespassing, it's not just talking about property, it's talking about rights too, okay? And coercion, that is just the use of violence, whether it be physical or mental, in order to force somebody to do your bidding in your will. And that's basically slavery. And believe it or not, that's the system that we live in today. That is the human condition that we are under right now. And that's why I'm sharing this information with everybody, because I want to see everybody get out of it. I want to see everybody get free. I want to see everybody treat everybody right. I just want to see people do better, you know. And it all starts with tearing down the construct. I'm actually writing a book, and that's the name of my first chapter. But so the third person that I recommend everybody check out, his name is Benjamin Balderson on YouTube. He is a master alchemist, and he is also a rune master. I talked to him, and he's very knowledgeable. So highly recommend that you check him out. Start with his video, Yggdrasil, the Unbroken Tree of Life, and it explains a lot about what I'm talking about. And it actually coincides with natural law. Natural law, all it really is just the unification of the sacred feminine aspect of human consciousness, represented by the color blue and represented by the moon. Okay? And that is, don't cause undue harm to other sentient beings. The word sentient means that it's able to perceive or feel things. Doesn't mean anything spectacular. You know, if it can sense hormones, if it can sense pain, if it can sense the presence of chemicals, if it can feel emotions, you shouldn't fucking cause harm to it. You know, and before anyone jumps the train, like, I am a vegetarian. I became a vegetarian very shortly after learning this information, and my life's been great. And no, I don't have vitamin deficiencies. I don't even really have to supplement all that much. You know, I supplement vitamin D3 and vitamin B12 once every like 3 or 4 weeks, and that's good, you know, and my levels are perfect. I know because I had my blood tested already, you know, and we'll get into that a little bit later. I'm not a big fan of that. But, and then there is the sacred masculine aspect of human consciousness, represented by the color red and the sun, okay? And that is, always defend yourself. You have the inherent right to defend yourself. And by unifying those, you develop the Christ consciousness. But anyways, guys, I gotta get off. Someone's calling our room. But anyways, hope you enjoy the video. I'll be uploading more probably later this week. But again, if I don't hold it against me. All right, have a good one, guys.